A recent report calculates GE's total direct and indirect economic impact on the state of Alabama at more than $492 million a year. That boils down to $1.4 million a day, $56,000 an hour, and $16 per second. According to this police report, Holland Head was leaving this convenience store across the street, and while she was attempting to cross the street, she was struck by a car heading westbound, and immediately after was struck by another one heading eastbound. And soon after, she was pronounced dead at the scene. Dr. Kaysen says in order to prevent bacterial meningitis, it is critical to receive the meningitis vaccine. He says there's also another preventative measure. Washing your hands. The vehicles Opelika police use now have cameras in both the front and the back, and these new body cameras will add a third perspective. But law enforcement officials say when it comes to body cameras, it is all about perspective. The Corps says folks can also come in up until Labor Day to write a check for the cause. On your side in Opelika, Alex Derencz, WRBL News 3. Boom. This wall separates this side of the warehouse from the other side, but last night, Mother Nature had some serious redecorating plans of her own. Mrs. Mitchell says her normal polling place is here at the Northside Baptist Church just up the street from her home, but her new polling location is here at Columbus Tech. The only problem is she says she wasn't notified of this change. 45 fifth graders at Morris Avenue Intermediate School are pedaling away today with bike tips from some of the very best in the business. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency says the driver was traveling along Lee Road 430, which runs alongside of the tracks, and it is in front of Smith Station High School. The driver tried to turn on the Lee Road 927, which cuts through the tracks, and that's when the car was hit by the train. I spoke with the ALEA to learn more about what goes into an investigation like this one. Sergeant Brown says the easiest thing is buying blue police lights. So we did an internet search of buy blue police lights. We got more than 5 million hits. In the state of Alabama, having blue lights in a vehicle is a no-no. When kids get off the bus, the teachers and bus drivers make the kids stop, look both directions, and check for a bus driver's signal to make sure it's okay to cross the road. They also hope the drivers are looking out for kids as well. Refusing to give up these could force someone to lose this, and it could also mean losing a lot of this.
News 3's Alex Derencz is live in Auburn, where many people woke up to severe damage.
Teresa, I'm about 5'10", and the root of this tree is twice my height, and it was an EF0 tornado that took it down. Now, although there's a lot of damage, the good news is there are no injuries from last night's tornado. I spent most of the day shadowing emergency workers, and they say having a plan in place could be the difference between life and death.
News 3's Alex Derencz visited both areas today to get a look at the aftermath. He joins us now live from Opelika. Alex?
Phil, Teresa, the National Weather Service did confirm that an EF1 tornado did come through Opelika yesterday. I spoke with some of the folks who experienced the scary situation. I also went out to Smith Station Junior High School, where we just learned that an EF1 tornado also passed through on Saturday, causing severe damage to the athletic facilities.
News 3's Alex Derencz is out near that scene now. He joins us live with the latest on this joint investigation. Alex?
Phil, a little more than a mile down this road is the 6,000 block of Lee Road 159. We are just north of the Macon County line. A bag with a leg was found along a creek down this road. The Macon County Sheriff's Office is investigating this case along with the Lee County Sheriff's Office because they say there is a possibility that that leg may belong to a missing person from Macon County. Floodwaters under control in the Chattahoochee Valley, and making the holidays bright for those affected by Tuesday's fire. The news starts now. Good evening and Merry Christmas. Welcome to News 3 First Edition. I'm Alex Derencz. We begin tonight's newscast with good news about the recent flooding across the region. Officials say floodwaters are under control for now. The city says the major flooding is under control. There are still exceptions on local streets. Earlier today, city officials used helicopters to take a look at the places along the river and creek basins. They say the floodwaters are at the moment controlled. Georgia Power has been releasing water from Lake Harding and Oliver, which is part of the designed flooding of the Riverwalk and watersheds. Officials say this water releasing will allow room for more to be released from West Point Dam, which should arrive in Columbus around 8 tonight. Columbus Mayor Teresa Thompson said, quote, "It looks like we caught a break from the cessation of rain today and from Georgia Power's management of water at Lake Harding, which should free up enough capacity to handle the released water coming in from West Point Dam later this evening," end quote. City officials are still advising residents to stay away from areas of water until those waters recede. That includes driving through standing water. Any extreme water level changes are asked to be reported to 911. And with today's temperatures, was Santa making his deliveries in some t-shirts and shorts? Meteorologist Carmen Rose joins us now with her first forecast. New at 5, the families who survived the massive apartment fire on MLK Jr. Boulevard early this week were treated to a Christmas celebration at the Liberty Theater. 19 families, nearly 40 people were affected by the fire. Many of them escaped with just the clothes on their backs just days before Christmas. This celebration at the Liberty Theater provided the families with toys, clothes, and a great meal on Christmas. Chances are you got a gift card today. Well, gift cards have ballooned into a $32 billion a year business, with about half of shoppers saying they plan to buy one this year, according to a Consumer Report survey. But what if you get a gift card you don't want? News 3's Christina Prevet has the answer for you in our Consumer Watch. Braves took the first 2 games of the series against the Nationals, and they were looking for the sweep. Did the Brooms make an appearance at the TED? Let's head there and find out. Max Scherzer and Bryce Harper in the dugout just before the game, summing up their 2015 season in a handshake. Top 2, rookie Ryan Weber dealing to Clint Robinson, who sends one the opposite way. And if Shaquille O'Neal was in left field, that'd be an out. But instead, it's a home run, and it is 1-0 Nationals. Now we're going to head to the top of the 3rd. Wilson Ramos at the dish, and he's going to ground one up the middle, and Andrelton Simmons says, "Not in this house," flashing that leather, and he's going to gun him out at first. Now that was one of the few bright spots of the night for the Braves. There's another look at that play. Just look at that. Look at that play by Simba. Rookie Ryan Weber looking for his first big league win, fanned 10 over 7 innings, but could not get any run support as the Braves only managed 7 hits, leaving 8 men on base, and they can't complete the sweep as they lose to the Nationals 3-0. On this day, you won't find Jean Royer watching a Thanksgiving Day parade. Instead, you'll find her here at Valley Rescue Mission.
Is everything going okay down there? Need potatoes.
Serving up food for those in need. For her, it is a tradition.
About 30 years. The best I can count.
That's when Jean and her husband decided to throw on their aprons and help. How it happened is a story of its own.
We had 3 invitations to go with friends to have Thanksgiving dinner. And we couldn't decide who to go with. And I heard on the radio that they needed some volunteers down here. So I told my husband, I said, we can settle this if we go down to Valley Rescue and serve.
Her husband passed away 14 years ago, but she still comes and serves. Jean says she feels more blessed serving than those on the receiving end. At the head of the line, she takes her serving seriously, and other volunteers recognize it.
What are you doing on that side?
I know, I was there with you last time.
I know.
Once things have wrapped up at the Valley Rescue Mission, Jean gets to spend the day with her family. But in the meantime, serving others is a good feeling. She'll be back next year, but under one condition.
If I'm alive, I will. After 30 years. I can't tell my age on that TV. I just had a birthday.
On your side in Columbus, Alex Derencz, WRBL News 3. Their make and model may be different, but the spot where they sit is the same, the side of the road.
Mechanical breakdowns, a lot of times people, they break down and they just leave them for an extended period of time or just abandon them.
Sergeant Steve Jarrett of the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency says vehicles on the side of the road is a common problem but is closely monitored. State law says vehicles may be removed from the roadway if it is left unattended on a public street, road, or highway for at least 48 hours. Law enforcement says keeping the roads, especially interstates, clear of these vehicles is important since people drive at high speeds. If the vehicle is outside city limits, it's ALEA's responsibility to take care of the vehicle, but it can be tough to keep up with.
We have a very significant shortage of Alabama state troopers. You have less troopers patrolling, you have the troopers that are out there covering huge areas, and they may not see abandoned vehicles in as timely of a manner as they would if we had adequate staffing.
Both Sergeant Jarrett and Lee County Sheriff Jay Jones say there are cases where the vehicles get vandalized prior to them being towed or picked up, but it's a risk the owner takes.
We try to work with people to best advantage. We certainly don't want to put them at a disadvantage financially, but then again, we do have the motoring public safety to consider.
Law enforcement officials say if they see a vehicle like this one abandoned on the side of the road, they'll take one of these tags, place it on the window to let the owner know the vehicle is being investigated and it could be towed in 5 days. They say in addition to posing a safety threat, these abandoned vehicles pose a visual threat.
It's just an eyesore. The public complains about it. People are traveling through Alabama. You know, we don't want our state highway system to be cluttered up with abandoned vehicles.
On your side in East Alabama, Alex Derencz, WRBL News 3. Meet Lila. She first came to Paul's in December of 2013 along with a litter of 9 puppies. All were adopted. She's been returned to Paul's 3 times, twice due to owners moving and once as a stray. 260 days in the shelter, waiting for the perfect home. Until James and Marilyn Connolly came to Paul's. He and Marilyn packed up their things in July and came down to Columbus. They had just enough gas money to get here. They had the money to pay rent, but not the deposits for a house.
We were sleeping in behind Stop Zone up on Victory Drive.
Intense.
It was very unreal, very scary.
Mm-hmm. And every time it rained, it was like we were sleeping
on the Titanic.
But just like Lila, they kept the hope that they would find a home. In November, they did.
For her and I to be able to go off and go eat someplace together, instead of one of us stayed behind because where we were staying, there was heavy drug and beer usage. And anytime we took off, we didn't know if any of our stuff was going to get sold so they can get their drugs.
After getting the spoiling she deserves, the Connollys and Lila go home together, sharing a piece of their past.
If anyone's ever been homeless, everybody turns their back. I mean, you've been abandoned. Given a chance to have a roof over your head to call home, a place to sleep securely, having meals instead of wondering where your next meal comes from. It's a member of the family, not just a dog.
When some folks drive down India Road in Opelika, they see this, a field with trees and overgrown grass. Kyle Grady drove past this same field and thought the same thing until he took a closer look and found these 2 gravestones.
They've got the same last name, so they're husband and wife. And this one's from 1926. The date on this one's not visible.
As Kyle went deeper into the lot, he learned that more folks were buried here. The property is a historic African-American cemetery named Ross Cemetery. Most of the graves are unmarked, but visible to the eye are graves of World War I and II veterans.
It's sad to know that their graves are becoming overgrown and no one can even tell that they're buried here. Served in the trenches of World War I, and now they're essentially just lost in this undergrowth.
Kyle wants to remove that undergrowth, install a chain-link fence, and make a gravel trail that leads to the back of the cemetery. This is his Eagle Scout project. He started a Kickstarter campaign to raise money for the project. He says the donations have been overwhelming, putting him halfway to his goal. Kyle says taking on this project is a big responsibility, but he says the end results will be well worth it.
It'll be nice knowing that I've done something and being able to see the fruits of all the people that have helped out with the fruits of their labors.
And honoring those who paid the ultimate price. On your side in Opelika, Alex Derencz, WRBL News 3. This is a home in the 2900 block of Casita Road Monday night. 2 men were shot in the front yard of the house, one in the back of the left thigh and left calf, the other in the back of the left thigh too. Fast forward to Tuesday morning around 11:30. Same house, but 1 man shot in the stomach who later died at the hospital. That man was 30-year-old Marcus Bowden, who lived in the home. Linda Williams is a family friend. She says Bowden was a loving and respectful man. She was on her way back from taking care of personal matters and saw the scene.
It's devastating. I mean, it's sad out here that you can't even go out your door. People that you think that you know, that you can trust, and it is just so much violence here in Columbus, Georgia. It's just terrible.
Albert Price has lived in the neighborhood for 35 years. He says if he hadn't fought in Vietnam, he would be scared of the neighborhood. But 2 shootings in less than 24 hours?
It scares you. Everybody's thinking about terrorists, but terrorists right here on this corner. And what I can't understand is the police know about this corner. But yet and still it's corner been here, and it's still here. And it's going to be here tomorrow. And the same thing is going to be going on.
Reverend Willie Phillips has been an advocate for cleaning up the neighborhood. He says there is a big drug problem in the neighborhood. He's talked to the mayor and police chief about the issues and feels that police could do more. He believes there is a turf war in the area.
As I repeat again, I think there's a turf war going on, and we need the police presence even heavier in this area. Not just in this area, but the whole area. You can walk down in the street and see gangs walking down the streets.
On your side, Alex Derencz, WRBL News 3.
We spoke with Columbus Police just a short time ago. They said detectives will be back out tomorrow. Also following a developing story out of Lee County where a construction worker found a human leg in a trash bag. The discovery was made in a creek off of Lee Road 159 near the Macon County line. News 3's Alex Derencz is out near that scene now. He joins us live with the latest on this joint investigation. Alex.
Phil, a little more than a mile down this road is the 6,000 block of Lee Road 159. We are just north of the Macon County line. A bag with a leg was found along a creek down this road. The Macon County Sheriff's Office is investigating this case along with the Lee County Sheriff's Office because they say there is a possibility that that leg may belong to a missing person from Macon County. Wednesday afternoon, a construction worker working near this bridge called the Lee County Sheriff's Office with a gruesome discovery: a human leg. Deputies went to the area and confirmed it. Lee County Sheriff Jay Jones says their #1 priority is determining who the leg belongs to, and they are keeping all options open.
It doesn't appear that this appendage has been on site for an extended period of time. In other words, if there's an individual out there that think it may be someone, a loved one that was missing a year or 2 years or something like that, that does not appear to be the case. It appears to be much more recent in regard to the condition of the appendage that we discovered.
The Macon County Sheriff's Office is also investigating this case. They received a missing persons report last Friday of a man who has been missing since January 6th, 32-year-old Kenneth McKenzie. The Sheriff's Office says he was last seen in the Brownsville area, which is not too far from where the leg was found.
If we had found this in Montgomery or anywhere, we would be searching because we are diligently searching for this young man. So any possibility, we are trying to find this young man. And like I say, we're still hoping for a safe return, and hopefully this is not that young man. You know, he has loved one home, you know, waiting on him to return, and we want to help them find him.
Sheriff Jones and Sheriff Brunson said that they have not found any other remains and that they are searching additional areas to find any additional evidence. Live and on your side in Lee County, Alex Derencz, WRBL News 3.
Alex, for that live report. Sheriff Jay Jones says that foul play is suspected in this case. The leg has been sent to the Department of Forensics in Montgomery, where it is being examined. They hope to learn more in the next few days.